My name is Gary, and together we're going to assemble a storage cell. Now, truth be told, I have never actually set up one of these. This is a new product for us, so I'm going to be walking through this together, and hopefully iron out any misunderstandings that may be the instructions and make it clear and easy for you. I have taken out of the box. I have taken all the pieces out. I have all our hardware set off to the side, and we're going to try to install this and make it as simple as possible for you. So the first thing I do, one thing I noticed is we look at the two on the instruction part 6 and part 7. There's a front bar and a back bar. We're working on this, but not all the parts are numbered. But as I'm analyzing this, there is a thinner piece and a thicker piece. The thicker piece is the front bar. So, in the second page, step 2, we're going to take dowels and we're going to put them in the front bar. 2 on each end. Set this aside for now. And it says take the left panel. So how am I going to figure out which is left and right? Knowing that the thicker piece is the front, I can see that there is a wider spot for a wider bar here and a narrower bar here. This would be the front. That means that's going to be the right side. So just to follow the instructions, we're going to go to the left side. The panel on its side says and insert front bar dowels. So I'm going to take the front piece. This is the front, so I'm going to face, there's a rounded edge and a harsh edge. I'm going to take the rounded edge as being the front and being the top. So it's going to go like this. Should be 2 holes on the top side to receive the screws for the top piece. Set the left panel on its side. Done that. Insert the front bar and those dowels into the holes in the top of the frame. Now, it says in the instructions that there should be 2 holes to receive screws from the top, but there's not. So if there's not, don't worry about it. First thing I look for is if this is the top, the screw holes should have been here. Are they here? Well, then I had it upside down. But again, I went with the curved edge, which would have been the top on the front. So that is correct. There are no screw holes in this to receive that. So we'll have to deal with that later. And then we use a hex screw, put that in. So we need to do this all at the same time. So part of what we have here is these are all going to be using hex screws. So if you can see the back of this, I'm putting the dowels in here, but there's a screw hole here that's going to put that in. So I'm going to try it this way. So this is the front, going the rounded part like that. So the top front is the rounded. And then I'm going to use that hex screw with this Allen wrench provided and just tighten that in. And the tricky part on this is, because of how things are balancing, is get your screws in tight so that they can assemble everything. So I've got that piece in. Now I do the same thing with the back bar. Okay, so I'm going to get 2 dowels. And there's a rounded edge. I'm going to assume that's the back rounded edge. So it's going to go like that. So it's rounded along the back and rounded along the front. And I'm just going to tilt this up so that we can put this piece in. Like that. Okay, so I've got the front bar and I've got the back bar in. That is step 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now it says secure the bottom shelf. So I'm going to slide this over. The weight will balance it in just a second. The bottom shelf, I'm going to put in dowels here, and then I'm going to put in the screws as well. So I've got 3 regular shelves, I've got the top piece, and I've got the bottom shelf. So the first thing is I'm going to put this in with the dowels. This table here, I could probably just come in from underneath so I don't have to tilt it on its side. So you can see this bottom shelf has a thicker front piece and a thinner back piece, just like we have with this. So this is my front. So this front piece is going to go Now that that's secure, I can actually tilt this over just to make it easier to do the next one. find it easier to work on a tabletop. That way I'm not always bending down on the floor, but whatever is available for you. Okay, so those are nice and tight. That was step 5. Now I'm going to do the same thing with all these middle shelves. I don't believe there's any dowels for these. This is simply me taking the hexagonal screws and screwing the side in. Brought my shelves a little closer, make it a bit easier. So I've got 3 shelves here. Again, a general rule of thumb is don't tighten things until you're sure that they are going in properly. So when we're doing these shelves, I try not to tighten the one side completely until I get the screws lined up for the other side. Haven't always done that. Probably should have, but it's working out. And my last shelf. My workbench seems to be just about the right size for this project. This workbench is another one of our pieces. It is our long sideboard, our 405 series. I have another video setting that piece up. And it just seems to be the nice size to work and do other things. Of course, I've protected the top with some vinyl and other things to make sure that that nice sideboard is not going to get scratched up while doing this. Okay, those are all tight. That is step 6. I'm guessing step 7 is I'm going to flip this up and just lay the next one on top and put all the screws in. Now that the left panel has all the shelves and crossbars in place, this is step 7. Rotate the left panel onto its back so that all the bars and shelves are now facing up. This will make it easy to place the right panel on top and secure with dowels and screws. Simple as that. And you should be able to see at this point that this should all line up beautifully. I need to put a couple dowels here, 2 more dowels each on there. And then we assemble. So the screws should all line up. So what we need to do is get these dowels in place. Beautiful. Now we put these screws in place using the Allen wrench provided. You notice this wasn't quite lining up, so the shelf, because it wasn't tied into anything yet, there's no dowels here. I just needed to shift it in place until the hole lined up with the screw and it just dropped right in. So if you're finding the screws aren't finding the hole that you need to go into, for example, if I just pull this one off a bit, you can see that's not going anywhere. Line it up. Oh, there it goes in. The holes will line up. Just need to make sure that they are in proper place.
We're going to 32A, right? Like there's no conversation about where they're going.
Only last piece is to put the top on. I'm going to use a ladder because this is a bit taller. You can put it right here, or you can just use that on a chair. So I know because of the cross piece, this is the front. Now look at the front. Again, I've been using a basis of a smooth rounded edge versus a sharp edge. The rounded edge is at the front, the sharper edge is at the back. So this is the rounded edge. I've been using the rounded edges on these. So I'm just going to put that up there. There's going to be 4 dowels that I'm going to put in, then I'm going to go up top and I'm going to screw that into the top. And this would be step 9. Place the top and secure with screws. And there's our storage shelf. We have a support bracket as well, an anti-tip restraint. If you're needing this to keep it from falling over. It's in the hardware box. I'm not using it here in this location, but every box will have this. So if you need to secure that to a wall, make sure it doesn't fall over, you can put that in there. Beautiful piece of furniture, fairly simple to install if you just follow the steps. Thank you again for purchasing this. I hope you enjoyed it for a long time.